Let me be the first to say that it's unfortunate that a white fashion designer, to remind many of our black community that we do not come from ratchetness, we come from greatness. There was a long period of time to where it was unacceptable for black men and black women to walk out of their home not properly dressed. Not by the standard of white people, but by the standard of our own people. There was a time when I was a little girl in the 80s, and when I walked out the door, my face was greased. My socks were all the way up to my knees with my little Bobos sneakers or my little black Mary Jane shoes and my little pleated skirt and a little white sweater. And I just loved it. Now I see little children walking around. Sometimes parents are not concerned about how their kids represent them. They'll go and get their own hair done before they get their kids' hair done or get their kids' haircuts. And that's just not who we are. I love the whole idea of the Ralph Lauren Polo, HBCU, Oak Bluffs, Martha's Vineyard, because that is very indicative to the Black Harlem Renaissance way of dressing. That's very indicative to the Black American church experience. It's very indicative to how people would dress down in the South. Very indicative to people how folks would dress in the whole New Orleans area. Chicago. Black people had pride. This entire ratchetness that we're seeing now, that has been implanted into our culture. And unfortunately, because there is a lack of family dynamics, there is not enough male presence, old people, older elders in our neighborhoods anymore that can correct that foolery when they see it. That's where we lack. There's not enough presence of older representation that will be able to correct the young folks in love. But we do not come from ratchetness. We do not come from women spreading their butt open in a camera or crawling on the floor like they're getting dog walked. That is from the pits of hell. And that has been implanted by people that do not look like us. A majority of the media that you see now, that has been implanted by white Jewish entertainment executive heads. When they could not get the talent in hip hop with their own communities, what they decided to do was use black hip hop as a new minstrel show. And that's exactly what it is. A lot of our young, beautiful, talented black women are being used in a minstrel show. There was a time where we had Lauryn Hill. There was a time when we had Queen Latifah. There was a time when we had Moni Love. There was a time when we had MC Lyte. There was a time when we had Salt and Pepper. We had a lot of women. They could talk about sexual liberation, but it was done in a classy way. Now we have women who have left from the stripper lifestyle, and white entertainers, that white investors that are in the media industry have allowed black women to sign up for their minstrel show. And when we go out, you can have 10 degrees. You can come from a good background. You could have never grew up in a poor environment, and they're automatically going to assume because you're a black that you're ratchet. You're black. You're a quote unquote ghetto. When ghetto was never even connected to us. Ghetto is a term that the Jewish Americans would refer to their areas of living. It's a type of Yiddish, which is Jewish slang here in America. Ghetto is not a term that belongs to us, because many Black Americans migrated out of the South into the North. But many people that came from Europe, especially the Jewish Americans, they migrated into Ellis Island, into New York, and they were the ones that established the ghettos. But I am appreciative of this. It's so crazy because I just went to the Ralph Lauren store on last weekend for my own birthday, and I said, you know what, I hadn't been here in so long, and there was this great sale going on, and I bought just a regular classic t-shirt, and I looked at some of the other things in there, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna come back, because there are some staple pieces that I need in my wardrobe, and I just can't find them anymore. So bravo to Ralph Lauren. I know that there's been some history in the past that people have said some negative things, or there were some negative things that have happened in the past. Same thing with Tommy Hilfiger. Tommy Hilfiger is another brand that Black people made very popular. When we see a brand, we make it our own. And I hope that other brands follow Ralph Lauren and also get on this bandwagon of making sure that Black excellence is represented in their own fashion collections. I want to see some Black fashion designers do the same. Celebrate Black American culture, about the Martha Vineyard and Oak Bluff experience. And it's really good. It talks about Martin Luther King. It talks about Madam C.J. Walker being there, President Obama. I mean, Spike Lee, some heavyweights that have been influenced by Martha's Vineyard. Please like, share, and subscribe.